Hey, welcome. Joe, what are you doing?
Dancing
Oh, I like that.
to Sea Pearl.
Oh, that song is great. I don't know who wrote it, but that guy's awful.
Mhm.
So welcome everyone. How's it going? Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is the show where we talk about whatever is on your mind, whatever issues are, maybe issues you're going through. Maybe you have some family issues. We all know that currently during these times, everyone's kind of trapped at home. Maybe you had a pet recently passed, or maybe you're just having trouble with homework. Whatever it is, whatever's on your mind, what's troubling you, we're here to talk about it. Mostly, you guys know what to do already. You guys are pretty smart, but sometimes you just need to kind of get it off your chest, have a different perspective, or you know, just kind of go through those motions so that you can get the courage to keep going through. Just have a shared experience with somebody. A lot of times we just like to give our experiences and and the kind of topics that you guys present us. We're not professional psychologists or psychiatrists or anything along those lines, but we are, at least we can attempt to be good friends. And in that, we do our best to help you guys with whatever it is you're going through. So yeah, um, thank you for being here, everybody. We have today with us the star of the show. Below me is Joe. Aw, isn't he cute?
Hi. How's it
Joe,
going?
when's the last time you've been called cute?
What?
When's the last time you've been called cute? Because you were cute right there. That was
Just now. You did.
oh, right. Oh, wow. How did I not expect that? That's wow.
Happens all the time, though. I tell you what, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're a cutie,
Like, oh,
so.
you're so cute. Look at that bald head.
Aw,
Cute.
cute little hairs on it. You can't see because they're so small.
Yeah, can't see him now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What do you use,
I'm
magic?
good. I use magic. I use magic.
Nice.
I use a magic wand.
I believe you.
Yep.
I believe you.
And and there it
That's what
is.
I use too.
You use a magic wand.
Yeah,
Mine works the opposite of yours, actually. It's weird.
no, that's why I got a big forehead. Because
Oh,
and I
you
was like, oh, I gotta stop
there.
using
You're
this
like, oh,
wand. Oh my
stop
gosh.
quick.
Yeah. So I was expelled from magician school pretty early
You were.
when they found out that I was using the wand to make everybody's foreheads bigger. So
Yeah, they don't like that.
yeah, I don't know why.
Everybody wants less forehead. I
Yeah,
have a
why
very
is
big
that?
forehead. I have a large forehead.
Yeah, yours just goes all the way back.
Yep, I have a very large face.
Good. That's a good thing. I think the bigger the face, the better, right? Because
Right.
the face is where the smile's at, right? So that's where the magic happens. I mean,
Yes.
literally, when you're using the wand on your head, that's where the magic happens.
Magic.
Yeah. So, anyways, welcome everybody. How you guys doing in the chat today? It's nice to see you all. Also with us, we've got Princess. She's going to be reading our comments for us, your topics, and also Jesse, who is hosting the show for us, or what's the word? Producing the show for us. That's a better word.
He's our illustrious producer.
Illustrious producer. That's correct. Hey,
Mhm.
Tsubasa, how's it going, man? Nice to see you. Today
You'll
we
notice
also
today's show is much more well put together than Monday's show.
Oh, come on, Monday. You did
You'll
great
notice.
last Monday.
You know, maybe so, but it ain't
Fair
nothing
enough.
compared to how Jesse put
Sure,
the show
sure.
together. It's outstanding.
It is nice to have him for sure.
Mhm.
So, all right. Yeah. Looks like there's a lot of chat going on, which is great. How about we get into it? What do you say?
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So I'm going to go through a quick list of names here that we've got kind of in the backlog of the people who've kind of submitted their topics before. And if I call your name, please drop a "Yo, what's up, your mama" to chat. That's spelled YOUCOMPOP. There's some letters in there. I can't remember what they are, but it's "Yo, what's up, your mama" in the chat. So we got Sumner Kagan, John Doe, Man Left Behind, Eric Bodine, Caffrey, Mark Anthony, Sparrow, Akil, and Anonymous. Now I believe the Anonymous. Yes, they are here. So the person who submitted the topic. Anyways, so
Okay.
we can do that one.
Right.
So yeah, if you're here, just drop a "Yo, what's up, your mom" in that. And you can spell that however you want. You could put 7-letter numbers in there, and you can write hi. Everything's fine.
Looks
yeah.
like Akil's here too.
Akil is here. Yep, there we go.
What's up with your mama dad?
What's up with your mama dad? Hey. So I guess is Sparrow here? It doesn't look like it. Yeah.
Sparrow is not here.
Sparrow's here is not here at the moment, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
it looks as though we need a minute on the anonymous one.
Anonymous one, yeah. Well, then if they're still needing time to be written out, what we can do is go for Akil's. We good for that?
Yes, I just got out of it.
Oh yeah, and also as Princess just said, Princess is our chat room hostess. She's also the one reading out our topics. You can submit a topic. You can just write it here in the chat if you'd like. If you guys haven't done this before, feel free to just write in the chat, or you can submit it on our website, which is bss.studio, or you can send us an email. If you'd like to remain anonymous, that might be the best way to do it. Send us an email at dww@bss.studio. So yeah, feel free to use that. No one's going to judge you here anyway. So even if you're not anonymous, everyone's just like, oh, you're having a problem? Cool. We do too. We all got those. Yes. You like my owl family? Yeah, they're pretty cute. Yeah, you have the purple one? Yes. That's awesome. That's awesome. I like the owls. They're cute.
The real question of the day, though, Ryan, is how are you? Good.
That is the question of the day.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. You figured it out. I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. Actually, one of the reasons I'm doing great is I got a chance to talk to Amory earlier, just before the stream, and she is just a delight to speak to. If anyone ever gets a chance to have a conversation with her, she will just put a big smile on your face. She's awesome. It me. That's right.
Her singing puts a big smile on my face.
Oh yeah. She's an incredible singer, incredible voice actor, or actress rather. And
would be the right proper term, I'm sure.
Yeah. She's just awesome. I'm a potato. Wow. Okay. Well, you're a very tasty potato. You're a potato of the finest quality.
Yes.
So yeah, Princess put in the chat for you guys. If you want to read along with us, we're going to do Akil's first. It is titled Leaving the Nest.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready, Princess, take it away.
Leaving the nest, a very important part in growth. To leave such safety and comfort requires resolve. I have no idea where life might take us. Should I get excited? Long story short, this became literally, as basically quarantine got us the first years kicked out of living within campus grounds. We get our refunds by next year, hopefully. But yeah, next semester basically will have us living in clusters. I'm relatively new to there, and with how the area is still being developed, it's going to need a bit more research than usual to find a house to rent. As much as my classmates are going to give me headaches, they'll prove useful in this matter, so I'm not worried about it at all. Life will change drastically, since I have less time to spare and I will be going back and forth a lot more, which actually is brought up tonight's topic. I'm a little bit nervous to come out and say this, but it was long overdue. I guess I'm graduating Don't Worry Wednesday. I've been contemplating this for a while, ever since Joe helped in bringing back the show. Life goes on, seasons change, and it was probably time for me to make a change too, but I never did for the last year. A lot happened, and my own little project inspired by Don't Worry Wednesday had to be scrapped too. However, that doesn't mean that I will not face off with difficulties. Being on Don't Worry Wednesday really emphasized on one particular thing, that most of the time we are all capable enough to face difficulties. It was more a matter of perspective than that became our obstacles. Sometimes hearing the same thing lingering in the back of our mind to be said by another person was all we needed. Akil, I'm worried. BSS, don't be, it's all right. Akil, oh man, that makes sense. Thanks.
We got you.
I have been doing the opposite. I got too attached and reliant to the show. I was limiting myself, really, something my low self-esteem manipulated. Voices saying things like I'm not good enough or this will not amount well echoed in my head for too long. So I've decided to challenge all of that. I am far from wise and definitely not a perfect person for this, but I've just got to do it. It is certainly ironic, but I've got to look at my issues with eyes open again. I need to have faith in myself again. I want to be competent. With all that said, I'm going to live again and see where it goes. If I can be honest though, I'm still very nervous. The road ahead is still unknown. I do not know how far I could go. So I ask you one last question. How should I go with Troubled Not Today? From Akil.
Mm.
Nice. Thank you, Akil. I
Mm.
love this. You always write poetically. You're a great writer. It's cool to see this. Obviously, it's great to see you here. We love having you here. You're awesome. We appreciate you're on the show like literally every single time we do it, and you've helped make this show what it is in a lot of ways. Akil, you rock. If you are feeling like it's time to move on, go for it. The funny thing is, because we've talked many times on the show about how helping somebody out too much can cause them to basically cause you to be their crutch. And ultimately, you're trying to help them. And then in the end, they just do the opposite. They go the opposite way. They get worse and worse and worse. And you're like, what's going on? And that can happen. And so it's kind of, like you said, ironic because this show is supposed to help people, but it can become something that holds people back. So on that note, if you're trying to just improve your life, even if it's just like, I don't have time for that show anymore. I'm just got too much stuff to do. That's awesome, dude.
Mm-hmm.
We support you 100%. What's really cool is just that we got to have the experience of you being here, and that you take us with you and we take you with us no matter what. So obviously there's a lot to talk about in this. You have the whole school thing. You also have the worried about moving forward and where you're going there, and also with leaving Don't Worry Wednesday or putting it to aside for a while. There's a lot of great things we can talk about. So I'm gonna give it over to Joe first and see what he's got.
Mm-hmm. Well, Akil, again, I really appreciate your post. I really appreciate all the posts that you've sent, and I really appreciate you as a person. You've become my honorary son, as you've said, and I really I appreciate you a lot. And because of you, there have been a lot of things. I mean, we've started to look into, maybe figuring out how to share video excerpts on this show. We've got Jesse looking into stuff like that, and then audio, because you've shared your topics through videos, you've shared them through audio, and it's been really cool that you've kind of pushed the boundaries of what we've been doing on this show. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the interactions that we've had with you. And man, I'm really proud of you. I know it's been hard. I can remember some of your first posts, and there you've definitely been through a lot. That I've seen as you've grown through these last probably couple years. Actually, I think you were probably on the first. You're probably on the first show that I was ever on, if I
Probably.
remember correctly. But yeah, and you had. Nobody makes every show, not even us. We have subs, but yeah, it's just been wonderful to have you here. But like Ryan was saying, if it's time to move on, it's time to move on, and that's part of what we do here. Is as we're helping people through issues and challenges, as we're trying to just offer some perspective and everything. Obviously, the goal is for us to be well equipped to handle whatever life is going to hand to us, right? And so part of one of the ways we do that is through trial and error and through experience, and you definitely have a lot of that. You have a lot of experience You've been through a lot of things. You've shared so many different issues with us about things that you've been through. And so you have a very rich history of dealing with things and handling issues. And it's amazing to see how you've grown through that. So anyway, I gotta give you props for that. So yeah, moving forward is always a little bit of a fearful endeavor, you know, especially when it's unknown. Now, in this case, I mean, it sounds like you already have an idea for how things are going to be. You know, you have an idea for where you're going to find information, where you're going to find a place to live, you know, different things like that. So you're already well equipped, and it's not a surprise because you're a very resourceful person. So it doesn't surprise me at all that you know, you would know this stuff. Um, but even still, even with all the planning, even with all the preparation, sometimes it's tough and it's fearful to take those steps in that direction, to be moving, like as you said, leaving the nest. It can definitely be nerve-wracking. It can be exciting for sure. I can remember, you know, moving away from the town that I grew up in um for the first time. It was kind of exciting. And then I moved even farther away, which was really exciting because it was like a resort town. I moved up to Traverse City, Michigan, which was like this beautiful resort place with beaches and everything. And like you go
Yeah.
when you live in a resort town, it's weird because like, you know, you've got the townies, you know, all the people who live there year round, and then but most of the population are transients. Like they just come and they stay for a little while and then they leave, you know.
Hmm.
And it's a totally different environment
Yeah.
than I was used to. But at any rate, I was really excited to leave. I was excited to experience a new part of the world that, you know, I had not spent much time at. And it was exciting to me. But yes, it was also scary because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be living by myself. I don't know anybody here. You know, I'm gonna get to know my coworkers, you know, because I had a job up there. That's why I got moved. I moved for work. But so I knew I was going to be put in a position where I'd be around other people. So I would naturally get to know some people. Um, so, and that would be helpful. But even still, you get you get those butterflies in your stomach. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of scary, but I like it. You know, it's kind of fun and it's kind of spooky. And you know, you just go through all this cocktail of emotion sometimes. But either way, you know, sometimes it can hold you back. And if you find yourself being held back, you know, maybe just bring it back to one step at a time. Sometimes you can get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed a lot. I'm actually working on a song right now for an instrumental album, and it's a bunch of stuff that was recorded years ago. And it's sifting through a whole bunch of stuff that was recorded a long time ago and fixing a bunch of problems that we had from before. We basically took this song and made it a train wreck, and now it's piecing it back together.
Nice.
So,
Oh, I've done that. Done that
yeah,
so many times.
it's great. But so it's, and you've got all these tracks. There's like 40 or 50 tracks on there, and it's like, like I could just sit there and be overwhelmed by it. But what I knew I had to do was just solo one track, start with one. Start with one track, process it, you know, get it edited, get it dialed in properly, you know, with all the different effects I want on it, and do it one track at a time. And it's the same thing here. If you start to feel overwhelmed, if you start to feel like this is too big of a thing, then you just take a step back and you take it one moment at a time, take it one decision at a time, and say, all right, I have to do all these things. And for me, it helps to write it down or type it out on a thing or whatever, right? It's just, you know, find some place where I can put it all out there so I can look at the whole list of things I need to do. And then I can just start checking them off. Boom, boom, boom. And I just start with one. rather than looking at the list and going, oh my gosh, there's like 100 things on there. Take it one step at a time, just one step at a time. And before you know it, you're halfway done and you're like, wow, it really wasn't all that bad. And then you get all the way done and it's like, I can't believe I just did that. Like, I did it. It's done. And then you're moving on. And it's a wonderful feeling. I just hope that some of the stuff we've shared with you while you've been here has been useful for you. I hope it's been helpful. And I mean, I imagine it would be, since you've been fairly regular here on the show. But man, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude that you've been with us, and I hope that no matter where you end up, you keep a soft spot in your heart for us, because certainly you have one in our hearts, where it's just been a really cool thing. So anyway, with that, I don't know. That's pretty much all I have to get started with. Ryan, do you have anything?
Yeah. I go out there and make a difference, dude. I mean, you've got all that. You're totally capable. I mean, if you're worried that you can't, you've already made a difference in a lot of people's lives, including our own and other people in this chat. So don't ever fear that you can't do that. And we know that's where your heart is. It's so great to, and honored. We're honored to be, be a part of your life in that. But one thing I want to say about this, that's similar to what Joe was saying, is one of the best experiences, one of my favorite feelings. All right. Now that's weird, right? I don't have a whole lot of intensive feelings. My feelings are very shallow and meek. I have them, but I'm reserved. Okay. So I'm not the kind of person that when I get excited, I'm super crazy excited. I'm not the kind of person that when I get angry, okay, that never happens. Well, I'm not the kind of person that, okay. You get the
I
point.
have seen you angry before.
Yeah. I've been angry.
You were like this.
No, that's an exaggeration, dude. What the heck? I would never do that. I would never make that face. What is that? Okay, I'm just kidding. So one of my favorite feelings is this: going to an airport by myself and getting everything figured out and gone through, and just being there in the airport, just waiting for my flight. And then flying. I love flying. And then landing and getting all of my stuff and then heading out of the airport to my next destination, which I'm also doing by myself. I love doing that by myself. Why? Well, one, I've done it before, but usually it's with other people, right? When I do it by myself, I'm relying on nobody but myself. And there is great joy in that. There is an abundance of joy when you can do something that you are proud of, right? When you can do something, I mean, even though that's not a big deal, right? Just like getting everything for a flight organized and then taking the flight and then landing and then getting your stuff and luggage and getting out. And doing it by myself, it's like, it's not a big deal, but it's something that you can do. You take your time, but there is a little bit of urgency. You just do it, right? And it is rewarding in the fact that you are accomplishing something completely by yourself with your own will. And I just like that environment. It's fun for me. I like people watching. I like going just to experience it. I love flying and all that kind of stuff. So similarly, in this scenario, right, you've got all of this stuff to do. Like Joe was talking about, you can write a list. And then that's the first thing. I think that's really important, because once you write it down, now it's like we've talked about before. If you just think about stuff, it loops in your mind over and over and over and over and over, and you're like, you can't stop thinking about it and you get nothing done. If you write it down, it's on a piece of paper, you can kind of forget about it and you can move forward to the next step, right? So writing a list is really good. And that's something I should practice more of. But luckily I don't have too many obligations. So my list isn't very long. But if it's like, if I'm trying to break down a song or something, then it might become long. But anyways, so getting that list out helps you stop thinking about all the different tasks. And then you can look at some of them and figure out, okay, this is the one I can do first. So let's do that one. Just like Joe said, take a step by step, right? When you go through that motion, when you do all of this by yourself, right? Or maybe some people help you, right? Maybe your parents help you. Maybe they fund you. Maybe you have friends that help you, like, hey, we've got a place over here. Why don't you check it out? Maybe, you contact a realtor and the realtor helps you find the right place, right? Of course, you're going to find people who are going to help you along in the process. But when you get done, right, you are going to have this sense of joy. And the beautiful thing is, a lot of that joy comes through going through the process. So each step of the way, be conscious of the feeling of accomplishment. Be confident, or be what's the word? Be conscious of the feeling of confidence. See, when I'm walking to the airport, I don't have anything to fear. I'm just by myself, right? And I can walk however I want to walk, and whatever pace I want to walk to get to wherever I'm going. I can go to whatever store I want to go to get my meal if I want to get a meal, right? I've got that freedom, right? And so I try to enjoy that. I go out there and I'm doing things like that. Similarly, you are doing this stuff. Be confident in yourself. Be confident that you can achieve whatever it is you're setting out to do. Finding a house, finding the right neighborhood for you, making sure that everything's lined up for your classes and all of this kind of stuff, right? It is a process, but take time to reassure yourself that you've got nothing to fear, that you've made it through harder things before. It's just, there's a lot of other people who've made it through this before. You just have to do it, right? And you can be confident in that and in yourself. But like I said, be conscious of that confidence, because that confidence is a unique feeling that also helps us to go through these motions, because it is an enjoyable feeling. Rather than being bogged down by all the tasks that are ahead of you and the worry of like, oh, geez, I've never done this before. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And getting all worried, right? Take a moment to reflect inwards and think of yourself and know that you can do it and know that you will do it. That'll help reinsure yourself, calm your emotions down from being so worried. But most importantly, give you enjoyment, which will increase your attitude. Perception is everything. How you perceive it, right, is going to be whether you can get through it easy or difficultly, because you're going to perceive it to be easy or difficult, right? If you're like, man, this is going to be so hard and it's going to be so, like, I'm going to hate it every step of the way, you are, right? But if you go through it and you're like, I'm going to go through this, I'm going to do it myself, and that's going to feel really good. You're going to have an awesome attitude going through it. You're going to be like, yeah, I'm doing it. This is great. And every step, every time you accomplish something, instead of going, oh my gosh, there's so much more to do, all I've got is just one thing done, you're going to be like, sweet, I got something done. Let's go to the next thing. This is great. Completely different attitudes. So be conscious of that and try to pick the right side of that, because that will help. That'll just make or break the whole thing for you. So anyways, that's really the main thing I've got on that issue of, setting yourself up for school and what's to come after everything settles down during these times. But yeah, I'm excited to see where you go. Obviously, if you're graduating from Don't Worry Wednesday, you might not be back, but you very well might be. So feel free to come back anytime if you like. You're always welcome, even if it's been like 3 years. We'll always appreciate you. But I see you've left some comments here. But I'm going to get over to Joe and I'm going to go ahead and read those myself if Joe's not going to read them out loud.
I will read some of them.
Okay.
One that Akil said was, it's always been helpful. If not, it will be. I will be on a creating end of things now, moving from the consumer side. So it sounds like you're going to start your own show, which I think is awesome. Please do, because we need more shows that spread positive stuff in the world, for sure. And time to cross off my bucket list, right? Yeah. Why not? Heck yeah. And so here's the thing. Here's one thing to know about starting, if you're going to start a YouTube show or a podcast or do something like that. Just start. We started Double Cup of Joe show. Like I just looked at it today. 58 shows ago, we did 58 shows of Double Cup of Joe so far. But they rack up fast when you do them every morning, you know. But it's but so what we did was we were like, well, I guess we'll just start, because even if we're not good at it, which we're not, we're definitely not well versed in this. We haven't been doing it, a lot, but we started and we were like, well, you know what? Probably if we do this every day, it won't be long before we start to get at least decent at it. And then, over time, we'll just learn and we'll get better. And what you can do is you can listen to people that you enjoy listening to, listen to their podcasts and think, okay, what do I like about that? What do I not like about that? Listen to ones that are popular and ask, why are they popular? Why are they not? Listen to ones that are, you can listen to the whole gamut of all of them and just be like, okay, what's good about this and what's not so good about this? And then you can try to adopt the things that are good and try to, work out of yourself the things that are bad. Another thing too is it helps to listen to your shows once in a while too, because then you'll start figuring out things you say a lot that maybe are kind of like word crutches for yourself and stuff like that. So like I
Yeah.
say a lot. Now everybody's going to be hearing every time I say
Do you say that a lot? I've never noticed.
I noticed it
Ah.
on Jeff's been making the Double Cup of Joe podcast, and I've been listening to them to just hear his work, which he makes it sound super smart because he gets all the ums and the uhs and the dead space out and everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. That's totally it. Then also, Kill says that happened to me with cooking. The satisfaction to make it on my own is great, even more so when it was approved by my parents. Found a lot of obstacles since I need to learn more about skills I need. And Akil says, I actually have a place where I could upload content. A local YouTube channel called ML Studios are open for speakers. I'm thinking of getting my degree and sending a video to them. It helps with reach.
Oh,
That's
that's
great.
awesome.
That's great. You got a plan. And I love that. I love that. So do it and just start and decide you're going to do it and start doing it, because that's how things happen. I mean, look at Ryan. Look at Static P as a persona. He's going to try and hide, but he can't. He can't hide. Can't hide that lovely face. That one either.
Darn it.
But one of the things that impressed me so much is, years ago, we had talked about, creating music. We talked about doing media, in general. And we talked about different plans of how we could do things and everything. And then all of a sudden, they moved out to, well, we worked on some projects before together. And then he moved out to Colorado. And at that point, he started to just do stuff. He started to, do some vlogging, started to make some videos, started to write some music, and started to just put it out there and do it. And that was the thing. He just started. And his stuff now is like way more polished than the stuff before. But that doesn't matter, because everybody has to start. And we all start at the beginning of our journey, right? But when you start and you start going, you are going to learn along the way. You're going to learn how to tweak things. And that's how you build yourself into a more polished, professional than before. I mean, like, you listen to Ryan's music now, you listen to the Criminal Idol series, you listen to It's Not Like I Like You, you listen to, I'm looking forward to the sequel to It's Not Like I Like You. And
It's coming.
I really can't wait to hear that. We were on our conference call this evening, and Ryan was like, "Yep, I'm getting it pretty much done, the music part of it." Dude, that's sweet. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I'm excited because Amber's gonna write the best lyrics ever. She is so hilarious. I love her. She's so good too. She's quick.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yep, I can't wait for that project. That's gonna be so cool. And then when Criminal Idol comes out and we release the episode 12, and everything, and all that goes forward. I mean, that will be like the culmination of a few years of creating stuff and doing it. And what you find is that even the beginning, if you just listen to the progression of the Criminal Idol series, you start with Detective, and you listen to each one of them in succession. In my opinion, and I listen to like production quality and all that stuff, like they just get better and better and better every time. And you hear him grow as a musician and as a producer, through listening to all those. Brad Pitt, I think, said one time, he said, you want to know about my how, like, my progression of learning how to act? Just watch my movies from oldest to newest. Because he just decided he was almost done with his degree, and he dropped out of school his senior year of college, and he drove to Hollywood to become an actor. That was it. He lived in Missouri, or I think somewhere in the middle of the United States, somewhere in the Midwest or something. And he just decided, hey, I'm going to go to Hollywood and I'm going to become an actor. And he did. It's crazy. And then he just started doing it. And so I would encourage you, whatever you're going to do, whatever content you're planning on creating, just start and then continue. And understand, at the beginning, you're not going to be that great, and that's okay. In the beginning, you probably, you may not have very many ears listening to it yet. That's okay. It doesn't matter. All the things that go into whatever you're going to create, you can learn along the way while doing it. But that's the real key, is to take that action and continue taking that action. So I'm really, really proud of you, and I'm going to turn it back to Ryan.
So
make sure you unmute yourself.
Or
don't mute yourself.
Okay, okay, we're good. All right. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, Akil, you're amazing. And just like Joe said, you just, whatever it is you want to do, man, just start. You're gonna start, and it might not look awesome at first, and that's totally cool. The more research you do, the better. But there's only so much research that can help you before you actually have to just start. If you're gonna be a singer, right, you have to actually sing. You can do a lot of research; it can help you a ton. But if you don't actually sing, you're not ever gonna be good, right? If you are, it's gonna be a fluke. But and it's the same thing with all things, right? If you want to do videos, man, if you want to produce videos and stuff, that's awesome, right? But you start by just starting. I mean, Joe was talking about our previous projects. Joe had wanted for years, I think probably for years, maybe not for years, but for a long time, wanted to write
at least 2 years.
At least 2 years. Okay, we're talking about
multiple years, that is.
Wanting to write an album for a business that we were a part of, because they had written albums before and then they stopped for a really long time. And Joe was like, I want to write the album for him. And so his plan was to get all the way up to the top of this company and then give the idea and then start working on it. And so I just started writing the music. Well, kind of. I wrote a song. My brother suggested I write it, and then we just sent it off to the dude who's at the top, and he was like, dude, this is great. Can I have it? And I was like, well, let's make a proposition. I have an idea. So he's like, okay, cool, let's meet up. And so we met him backstage behind, right after one of his talks or whatever. And we sat backstage, and man, this guy was, well, okay, so his name's Chris Brady. He's awesome. This guy is, you can tell he's been in business for a long time. The way he kind of just directed the flow of the conversation every step of the way. It was incredible. And it was funny because he was starting to move in a direction and I was like, whoa, hold on. Actually, our proposition is that we just write an album for you. And he's like, wait, oh, hold on. You know, just like change this track over to this. All right. Okay. What? Okay. We've been looking for someone to do that. And we were like, wait, really? It's like, yeah, we've been looking for somebody for like years to help like write a new album. And we're like, oh, well, okay, we'll do it. So it's one of those things. It's just you start. And wherever you are, you just start. And it's a lot of times there are situations where getting to know somebody is how you can get in, like getting in on a job or whatever, getting in on a business or whatever. If you know the right people, you have good relationships with them, it makes it easier getting in, right?
Mhm.
In other cases, it's the act of, all right, I'm just going to do what they're looking for. And then I'm going to give it to them. And they're going to look at it and be like, hey, can we hire you? I mean, that literally happens. So think about that. When it comes to making those videos, right? Obviously, just start like Joe said, and or whatever it is you want to work in, right? If you want to be good at anything, literally. So, but with that, I think we've run this one to its end. Do you have anything else you want to say, Joe?
No, just I love you.
Yeah,
love you.
honestly,
And
Akil, we love you.
You're going to be following in your father's footsteps. Fail a lot to learn a lot.
Yes.
Absolutely. Never be
Yes.
discouraged by failing because that's just learning experience. You've known that, you've heard us say that until we're blue in the face around here. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay to mess things up. It's okay to fail, because you just learn from that, and it's a piece of cake. So I'm super proud of you. I love you. And I hope you're not a stranger, even though I know you said, you get to, you're going to be moving on, and you're not going to be here. I hope that every once in a while you pop in and check in and say hi at least. Because it'd be great to see you, or at least send me a direct message either on Discord or at bss.studio or something. Let me know how things are going.
Mhm.
Yeah, that goes for you, Akil, and that goes for anybody who hears this. You can find me on Discord, like Princess says. She puts all of our personal contact information.
Wait, really? This whole time? I didn't
Yeah.
know. No, I'm just kidding.
Our Discord, and you can find us on bss.studio.
Yep.
And absolutely feel free.
You know where to
direct
find us,
message
Akil.
me
Mm-hmm.
and let me know what's
Yep.
going on. I would love to stay in touch with you. Absolutely love to stay in touch. So good luck, and you're gonna be awesome. And
Yeah. Bless you, man. We love you.
my heart goes along with you. You're awesome.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, there we go. That ends that topic. Love you, Akil. Thank you so much. And I guess we're good for the next one. I'm gonna read the list of names. It looks like Sparrow is here. So Sparrow, sorry. It looks like Sparrow is here. Because yeah. All right. I'm gonna go through the list of names. If you're here, let us know.
I was like, Princess put links in the chat, and I was like, oh, what are those? It's the links to our BSS page,
Oh.
like our personal page.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay. So Summer Keegan, John Doe, Man Left Behind, Eric Bodine, Caffrey, Mark Anthony, Sparrow, and there's an anonymous one as well that we get to do. So Sparrow, it looks like you're here. If anybody else that I just called the name out is here, please just drop a message in the chat so we can see that. But we're gonna go ahead and take Sparrows first right now, since what?
Do we want to do sparrows or anonymous?
Oh.
That's the question.
Yeah. We can do anonymous, I guess, if that's Sparrow. Is it cool if we do anonymous first?
It's up to you guys.
It's up to you guys. I'm getting word in chat that we should
Getting word. Is anybody
possibly
time
do anonymous first.
constrained? That's the question.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Cool. Sparrow says it's cool. We'll do anonymous first then. Thanks, Sparrow. You are very kind and giving.
You're amazing.
And patient.
Amazing.
And delicious. And
delicious even.
Yeah.
How about that?
You remind me of my mom's cooking. Okay, I don't know why. Anyways, I don't know why I said that. That's not true. All right.
All right.
Oh, that guy is weird.
We went there. Good.
Awkward. Sweet. Embrace it. Embrace the awkward. That's how you get the best out of life.
Mhm.
So this one is from Anonymous. It's titled Finding Support. And Princess will read it when she's ready.
Hello. I have a friend who's really been struggling with conflicts that happen with their mom. I do my best to support them and calm them, but I want some help to help them better and what they can do to better themselves. For some context, their mom yells at them out of the blue about things in the past or accusing them of doing the most random things. Now, some of the things are true, but they're just spending their time in their room minding their own business when she'll come in screaming. At first, they found it kind of funny and strange, but now it's crossing the line into hurtful and annoying, and it just keeps happening. It's highly comparative to their sibling and belittles them about how they are lazy, incompetent, unhelpful, and when they help, if they're grumpy and unpleasant to be around. Their mom talks about how they should have just been thrown into public school because they don't care and study. And they're not always in the mood to argue because they'll get dismissed, have their privilege taken away, or have their stuff taken away. And what's worse about the situation is that 5 minutes after they're yelled at, their mom starts to joke or acts like nothing happened. They're annoyed because their mom doesn't see what they do in their studies and seems to hold them to double standards on standing up for themselves. There's a history of abuse going on from their dad to their mom, and all of this just makes them wish that they stopped existing sometimes. When dumb family arguments start, they have to grab their sibling and cat and hide until it stops sometimes. Not only that, but divorce just hangs in the air, and their parents are very negative about each other. They have a hard time dealing with all of this and keeping their emotions in check and supporting their younger sibling that also is seeming to become depressed. And it's becoming harder and harder to tolerate her actions. Do you have any advice for me and my friend? Thanks for listening. From Anonymous.
Yeah. Obviously this is a tense situation. So I'm really sorry to hear all of this is going on. Now obviously this is someone who's posting for helping their friend. So their friend is probably not here listening. But I do feel for them, and I'm really sorry that they have to go through this. That's really rough. It's really hard too, because you're getting this experience from someone who is supposed to be the one that guides you in life. You know, one of the people that's supposed to show the most love and affection towards you, and it's and they are someone that you trust and care about, and so on. It can be very difficult. So I feel very sorry for this person, and I hope we can do something, at least together, and whoever posted this, Anonymous, that we can work together to make this a better situation for them. Being a friend, even though it might not seem like it, there's a lot you can do for this person in their lives, and friends sometimes make the biggest of difference in these scenarios. I mean, honestly, they really do. So I have some personal suggestions that I can give, that you might have heard before, but that's even if you have, never hurts to kind of bring it up again. But yeah, this is tough. And also, I thank you very much, Anonymous, for trying to help, for being the person that wants to help, to bring it up in this discussion, because you're looking to other people to help figure out, how do I help this person, right? That takes courage, but also it takes a lot of heart and strength. So I really appreciate you. But going into the topic, I'm going to let Joe handle it first.
Well, Anonymous, I'm with Ryan. My heart goes out to you. This is very, very painful. This is very difficult to deal with. And with all the stuff going on, I can't say it's necessarily surprising that this stuff has happened. I mean, you talk about the marriage relationship that's becoming more and more difficult. The divorce is seeming like it's maybe on the horizon, and with all of that, it's just a recipe for somebody to be really, really stressed out and to act this way. You know, I imagine your mom is under a great deal of pressure and under a great deal of stress, and she's human. Every single one of us is. And it's a weird thing when I mean, I can remember when I finally figured out that my parents were people. I mean, I always knew they were people and that they weren't perfect, but we always kind of look up to our parents in a way, and it's by design. It should be that way. We should look up to our parents because they brought us into the world, and they've, helped us in many ways, and they've, bought us things we need, and they've fed us and brought us up and stuff like that. And there's all kinds of things that our parents do for us, and we don't even really notice it. I didn't really notice it until I became a parent, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do all this stuff. Now I understand, some of the things that my parents had to go through raising me.
And you can't even remember all of it. I mean,
Oh no, not even.
yeah.
But at any rate, with this experience though, it sounds to me like your mom's under a fair amount of stress and pressure, and part of what's going on here is just a natural reaction to all of that going on, and just maybe not being able to compartmentalize those feelings, and just not being able to handle it, and just letting off the steam in your direction. Now I know that that doesn't make it feel any better because it still hurts. It's still hard, still very, very painful and hard to deal with. But I want you to understand something, that no matter what's going on with all of that, you are loved. There are people that love you. There are people that consider you a friend. And you are valuable, regardless of how anybody is treating you at any given point in time. And even regardless of your performance at any given time. If if you seem like maybe you're lazy, or you're not getting as much stuff done or whatever, that doesn't change how valuable you are as a person. It doesn't change the fact that you have infinite dignity just by existing. Now, it's good to try hard. It's certainly good to do your best. It's certainly good, these are all good things, but it doesn't change how valuable you are. Now, when someone that we look up to tells us these things, it belittles us in certain ways, it can be really, really heartbreaking. I know. I mean, I remember growing up, my dad, he would try to be helpful because he just wanted, me to get through life, and he wanted me to do things the correct way, and he wanted to make sure that I was on the right foot and everything like that. But when he would correct me, it hurt. And part of that has to do with my love language. I'm a words of affirmation person, and so when people speak, they have their words have impact. They have a deep impact on me. Like somebody can come up and physically, punch me or something, and that's not going to affect me emotionally the same as somebody who says something belittling to me. That's going to hurt much worse on an emotional level than somebody being physically aggressive with me. Now, there are other people who are physical touch, their love language, and so they can deal with words all day long. But if somebody, is rough with them physically, then it's going to be really hurtful to them. So there's possibility here that some of these things hit close to home because of your personality, because of your love language, because of some of these things that just are part of who you are. And it's okay. But one of the things to understand here is just what I said at the beginning, that your mom's a person, and there's pressure in her life that she's dealing with. And unfortunately, it's coming out at you. And the reason I point to that again is because of one little thing on here that you have in the post. It says, what's worse in this situation is that 5 minutes after they're yelled at, their mom starts to joke or acts like nothing happened. So there's this roller coaster of emotion going on, right? And so that tells me that it's not, there's something going on that's causing her a lot of stress. Now, you can try to be understanding of that for sure, and that could be helpful. But at the same time, I mean, I can remember there was a time when this was a situation, I had a person very, very close to me that I could never, ever do anything right. Ever. Ever. No matter what I did, I could try my hardest and it would never be good enough. It would never be right. And it went on for a long time. And I was hurt deeply by this because this is a very close person to me, right? And it just kept being this way, that over and over and over again, until finally I just kind of came to grips with this fact in my life where I was like, I know two things. One, I'm going to try as hard as I can. I'm going to do the best I can. And number two, it's not going to be good enough. I just came to grips with that. I had to be, I was forced to understand that and be like, all right, this is just how it is. I'm going to try my best and it's not going to be good enough. So then the temptation is, do I stop trying? And that's definitely an option. I chose to continue trying just as hard because I found value and I found validation in myself through that trying hard. And I learned to just set aside the fact that it wasn't good enough for them. Just be like, you know what? I'm going to do my best. That's the best I can do. If it's not good enough, I'm really sorry. But I'm trying the best I can. And so I would definitely do things to, continue trying hard, continue to do the best you can. And when you fail, you can learn to forgive yourself. That's one of the most beautiful things. And we talk about it on this show a lot, is the value of forgiveness. And in this case, you have lots of opportunity because your mom is doing things that are hurtful and saying things that are hurtful, and it's a very difficult situation, and there's a family dynamic going on that's stressful for everybody, and it's hard. And like it says in here that there you have to grab your younger sibling and cat and hide until the fighting stops. This is a home in unrest, and I'm so sorry, but you're doing the right thing by helping your younger sibling. And as hard as this is, one of the things that's going to be most healing for you is to learn to forgive. And it might not be easy right now. It might not even be possible right now. You might have to work yourself up to that. But forgiveness is one of the most healing things that you can do, because then no matter what happens, when you forgive, you let go. And you feel better inside. It's not that you're letting someone off the hook. What happened was still wrong. But you in your heart can forgive, and it frees you. And it's beautiful. And when we can learn to forgive ourselves for our own shortcomings, that too is beautiful. And that too is liberating. And we can feel so much better, regardless of the pain going on around us. inside, we can heal. So hopefully some of that makes sense. Hopefully some of that is helpful. I like I said, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. It is so tough. This is a very, very tough situation, and it's tough for everybody. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, because I know Ryan's got experience here too.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, what they're going through. And thank you for that, Joe. That was very well said. Absolutely. I mean, forgiveness, there's nothing more healing than that when you go through hard times. There's a lot we can say on the issue of suffering, and going through these things, and then coming to forgive, coming to that healing spot, the spot where you forgive and you can heal from it. And when you do, you create something good out of something that was once bad. You purify and build strength where something that once was in the negative is now in the positive. It's incredible what forgiveness can do. But yeah, there was a couple of things. One thing that also stood out to me, that stood out to Joe as well. You said what's worse about the situation is that 5 minutes later, after they're yelled at, their mom starts to joke or acts like nothing happened. That tells me something very important. It's this. I think one thing that maybe, now here's the thing, right? One of the things we want to do here, before I get to this comment, one of the things we want to do here is help the person to heal from this, right? Why? Because Joe just kind of basically gave an example of this. When you understand the other person as a human being and you become better at forgiving, you become better at passing off their ill coming, like their shortcomings. So when they come in and they yell at you, you can break down inside and you can just have everything fall apart. Or alternatively, if they come in and they yell at you, right, and your response is, okay, just stay calm. I'm not going to get mad at them. They're just going through a whole bunch, and I feel bad for them. I'm shaming them, but I have pity on them. Pity is not an evil thing. People say, don't pity me, as if it's a bad thing. No, pity is a very beautiful thing. To pity someone means you care about them and you feel bad for them, right? Not that you look down on them, right? Because we all have our shortcomings. So when they come in the room and they yell at you, and your response is, that's bad for them that they're yelling at me, because it's making our relationship hard and it's making them feel bad. It's making them not like themselves, which only results into them yelling at me more later on because they don't like themselves, right? There is that sort of thing going on here, right? So if you can bring this person to understand their mom's position, not that their mom's position is correct, not that their mom's position is just or righteous or anything along those lines, because what she's doing is wrong, but to understand my mom is not in a good place. I want to help her, right? Then when she comes into the room, she yells. The response isn't anger from inside. The response isn't, I can't believe she's doing this. She doesn't understand what I'm doing. She's not even like looking at me. How can, like, she doesn't know how hard I'm working, and whatever. Instead of getting defensive and stuff like that, we look at it and go, how do I help my mom out of this situation? And go like, how can I open up a conversation with her to fix this? How do I portray my situation with her so that we can come to equal grounds? And then how do I help her beyond this? Because unfortunately, this person can't solve the problem that they're enduring because it's their mom's actions. All they get to do is endure it and then pick how they want to respond. Mm-hmm. So if you can teach them how to respond the best way possible, and that is through love, that is through a desire to help, right? To aim for what's good. If you can teach them the appropriate responses, that'll help move that relationship forward. Because there's nothing that he can do or she can do to there is something they can do to help their mom, but only when they start to think about that sort of stuff. Right now, they're probably stuck inside themselves and thinking about, wow, my mom is doing all this to me. My life is terrible. I hate my life. I can't believe this is going on. My family is so annoying. What do I do? I can't, all this stuff, it's super stressful. You're all caught up inside yourself, and we all get there. Like we're all like that. But if we can take a moment to just kind of think outside of ourselves and look at this other person and go, okay, they're suffering. Yes, I'm suffering because of what they're doing to me, but whatever. They're suffering. And that's why they're acting like this towards me. What can I do to help? Changes everything, because now our emotions aren't subject to theirs. Now our emotions are free from theirs. We're free to decide for ourselves how we feel about it when they speak that way, because we see it like, oh, they're speaking that way to me because they're just not in the right state of mind. What do I do to get them in the right state of mind? What alleviates me to this is the fact that their mom starts to joke or act like nothing happens is an act of pride and sorrow. It's when they both combine. They realize their wrongs, but instead of apologizing, they're trying to make the scenario seem light. They're trying to act like it didn't happen. They're trying to take it and go, let's have a good time, let's have a good time. So we're friends and stuff. But instead of actually just coming out and saying, hey, I'm sorry, I did that. That can be really hard for people that are in this position, right? If they're coming in and yelling at this person and they're in this abusive relationship themselves, right? Like they said, the dad is not treating the mom well, and so the mom's not treating the kids right. That really weighs down on the mind. And so it's pretty, like, it's not okay that she's ended up hurting her kids, right, in this way, but it's understandable. It's relatable, rather, I should say. It's relatable. Like, that is very human. That could happen to any of us. Like, I could not for 1 second shame any of them and their family, because I realized that I'm a human being too, and I'm capable of all of those things. Every one of those members of the family, I'm capable of being in any of those positions, right?
Yep.
So knowing that, I get to look at it from an outside perspective and go, okay, now how do we take this forward from here? So getting them in that mindset. So how do you do that? How do you treat your friend to help them get in the mindset? I think one of the things you can do is you can bring them to our show and have them listen to this conversation. But another thing you can do is you can just talk about what we talked about here. If you can, bring up like, hey, I know what you're going through is really difficult. And I know you love your mom. I know you love your mom. So here's what I suggest. Here's some things that I heard from some other people that, they went through some similar things, or they, I have some friends that went through these things. And on that, I would say one other thing is you could ask your parents, and if they say yes, offer them to spend time with you in your house, live there for a while, if it's okay. Obviously, it might be something online where you can't do anything about it, or rather they would have to travel like 1,000 miles to get to your house, which is possible. I mean, nothing's really going on in the world anyways. They don't have anywhere to be. They can do everything from online anyways. Yeah. But my mom took some people in because they had a bad home life, and it helped them a ton. So yeah, I would suggest doing the same if it's possible. But yeah, honestly, if you could just explain to them like, hey, your mom is going through something that she doesn't want to go through, and she still loves you, but this is kind of just the natural human mind and the way that it reacts in so much pressure, just as physics reacts a certain way when you apply pressure to something and you apply it so much, and you could try to condense something like a tomato, it eventually just pops, right? It still tastes good. It's still a tomato, but it's in pieces, right? And that happens to people too, right? So if we can come to an understanding and then look at it as like, how do I help this person? How do I love them? Because one of the best things you can do is something that Amory suggested. Talk to them. Talk to your mom. Have they explained to them like, yes, this hurts me. And I know like you don't want to hurt us on purpose. So this is hurting us, right? So let's figure out a different way to communicate. You know, there are situations where you actually, like as a child, are supposed to. Here's an interesting thing. Two things. One, children are unfortunately raised not to do what is good and what is right. We are raised to do what is approved. We do things because we seek approval of our parents, right? My mom doesn't approve of this. This is why I don't do it. And I know because she spanked me on the butt when I did, right? It doesn't teach us anything between wrong and right. It doesn't teach us love. It teaches us love, but not exactly. It is an act of love, right? To spank your child, it can be an act of love, right? To say, hey, this is wrong for you, and I don't want you doing this, so I'm going to scold you, right? Sometimes love has to be the other way around, where the child loves the mother or the child loves the father and says, hey, this isn't right, so I'm kind of going to scold you. Now, a lot of times we are like, okay, that's really weird because you're supposed to look up to your parents and your parents are supposed to guide you, right? And that's true. And I would never suggest to look down on your parents, right? You need to respect your parents. This action is an action of respect. When you respect them enough to help them with something, to look at them and say they are capable of doing this better, that's respect, right? To look at someone and condemn them and say, oh, they're terrible and they will never change. That's not respect. That's not love, right? And then to just be angry at them and be mean to them, that's not respect. That's not love, right? Because you've already decided that you're not going to help them. You're just being mean because you want to be mean. If you have a sense of love of, let's talk this out. Let's be mature. Let's come to a conversation between me and you and talk about how we can do things better. Even though sometimes things don't necessarily change, that conversation changes our hearts. A lot of times when we have those conversations with our parents or with other people around us where we have to have a one-on-one, like real talk, let's get this figured out. Let's make our relationship better. A lot of times what happens is funny. None of the actions change, but the hearts of the individuals do. And the way they receive each other's actions starts to develop into something where we become more forgiving, more lenient. And then through that, then the actions start to change. It's this sort of, nothing's going to change until our heart changes. And then once we have the conversation, it changes the heart, which then over time starts to change the actions. So that's that. What I would suggest is, finally, the last thing is, don't worry about what they yell at you about, because you don't need your parents' approval. Because the whole point of approval, right, as a child is, this is a wrong action. Don't do this. It is wrong to take your food and spit it onto the floor. That is wrong. I mean, that is not what food is for. That is not okay. Now I have to clean that up. You're making more work for me. That is not okay. That is wrong. That is evil, an evil act, right? And so then that's the whole point there, right? But you don't need your parents' approval when it comes to doing what is right, when it comes to doing what is good, right? The whole point of their approval to begin with is to lead you and to show you what is good and what is right, to lead you to become a good human being. By doing good things, you are a good human being naturally, right? So do what is right, do what is good, and stand for those things. And then don't worry about how other people see you, about what they think you're doing behind the scenes. Because here's the thing, God knows, they don't need to know. If you're doing what is good, you will produce good results in your life. Ultimately, they won't come immediately, but a lot of times what they manifest inside, and they make you feel good as a human being. And then feeling good as a human being allows you to do more stuff because you have more courage, you have more strength inside of you, and you have more capacity to do good. You have more gifts to do good with. So that being said, the last thing you can do for your friend is to lead by example. We've talked about this many times. I know I've gone on and on and on, and I'm sorry, but last thing you can do is be a good example of your of what is good in the world. Be that goodness in the world and show them that and lead them to do the same. Lead them to actions which are good. You know, like, hey, let's do a project together. It'll help out these other kids, right? Things like that. Like, even if it's like, hey, will you help me write something in this person's thing about like, hey, happy birthday, whatever. Hey, will you write in this happy birthday post? Or hey, will you help me draw a picture for this person? I know it doesn't have to be good. We're just doing it because they would appreciate it. You do things for other people, right? You make that an adventure that both of you go on, you and this friend of yours. You'll develop good in their heart. You'll give them strength from within, and that will help them to lead them through the rest of their life, whether their parents are good or not. And that's what matters. So that's what I got. Now I'm going to throw it back over to Joe. Sorry for talking so long, and I apologize. I know that was super long-winded, but yeah, go on, Joe.
No, that was quite wise, actually. And I just wanted to emphasize one of those points, and that is to pursue good actions, pursue virtue. Ryan talks about it a lot. One of the things that leads to us being happy as individuals, no matter what's going on around us, is to pursue a life of virtue, which means to do what we know to be right. And you can look them up online. You can look up what are virtues. You know, you can start with the cardinal virtues. You can, you know, move on from there. There's Ben Franklin's list of virtues, you know, and you can try and live those out. So, and what happens then is when you live a virtuous life, you feel better about yourself. You feel better about your life in general. And you know deep down that you're just, from the bottom of your heart, you're trying to do things that are good. And that's the best response when somebody is treating you badly, or especially in this situation where you have a parent that's belittling you, or, you know, saying mean things or whatever. You know, one of the best responses is to be like, you know what? I'm going to make sure that what they say is a lie. Because I'm going to, from the bottom of my heart, I'm going to live a virtuous life. I'm going to live with good habits. I'm going to help when I can. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to try. And that way, all that ammunition that they're shooting is false. So that's one thing that, you know, goes on. The other thing that goes on is just we esteem ourselves much more highly that way. And when we don't, when there are people all around us, especially people that we care about and love, that are making us feel low self-esteem, then then we need to take that into our own hands. And we can. That's the beautiful thing, is we can take our self-esteem into our own hands. And the doorway to that self-esteem is exactly what Ryan talks about: to live a life of virtue. It makes us feel good about ourselves. It raises our opinion of ourselves. It makes us feel like, you know, it makes us feel better. And so that can be one of the best defenses you have in this situation, because what it will do is it will defend you inside against all those attacks. And it will make it way easier to forgive, and it'll make it way easier to come at this from a mature angle, like Ryan was talking about. You know, if you're going to have a conversation where you're going to talk about this situation, and you're going to talk about how much it hurts and how much this is, I don't think this is the right type of thing to be happening. If you come at it belligerent and emotional and yelling and angry and everything like that, it might not have the same impact as if you just calmly and maturely said, I'm I'm sorry that this is happening. I don't know what it is, but when this happens, it's very, very hurtful. It hurts me, and it hurts my younger brother or sister or whoever, you know. And when you can come at it in a calm and mature fashion, that's going to have way more impact, like Ryan was just talking about. And that strength to that comes from living the life of virtue that Ryan was talking about. So anyway, that's what I have. Ryan? You're muted.
Nope, you're wrong.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
No, you were. I was totally muted. Thank you, Joe, for that, and thank you so much for the comment or topic, I should say, anonymous. We appreciate once again that you share this with us, and we hope that you guys can find success and movement going forward in this towards a better environment for them. And yeah, sincerely, just we wish the best. We love you guys. And we hope to see things get better for them all, especially if the dad is kind of the root of all of this. I mean, honestly, him the most. Say your prayers for him. And even though like a lot of times we're in these scenarios, I mean, we talked about recently, all the crazy riots that are going on in America. There aren't that many, but we put them on the news like they're the most, like they're happening everywhere. So it seems like it is a big deal. But one of the first things, like, I pray for the people that are involved, right? But one of the people that I make sure to pray for are the people who are actually doing the riots, the people who are causing harm, the people who are stealing things, the people who are trashing and destroying people's stuff. I hope best for them, because the best for them is to stop doing that kind of stuff. The best for them is to receive some kind of judgment so they can go, okay, I need to just become a better person, right? Me and Joe personally know someone who went to jail and has evolved as a person from that experience, becoming a far, well, he was already an awesome guy. I mean, just to be honest, but taking that time gave him a lot of opportunity to just shape up into a better person, right? And that's something we all need in life, every once in a while. So really, I do hope and pray for those people. And so similarly, have in your heart a desire to help your dad become a better person, because that's going to solve a lot of the problems that are being caused. But yeah. Yeah, I was lip syncing advice. Thanks. Thanks for standing up for me, Amrias, and I got my back. That's what I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, awesome. So our runtime is what, an hour and a half?
Yeah.
So cool.
Is Sparrow still here?
Sparrow.
I got you.
I got you. Oh, that was like a Chinese X HU. Actually, it's probably pronounced Zhu or something. Shu. Chinese X's are weird. I don't understand the Chinese to see Japan. Okay, so you have Romaji, which is when the Japanese use our letters, right? So instead of using the Japanese writing system, they use the English writing system to spell their words out. We call that Romaji because it comes from Rome. It's Romanized writing style. And G is the word for character. So what's interesting is they make all of the letters sound like they're supposed to be. The D is a D, the K is a K sound, the F is a F, the U is a U, right? It makes sense. The X is a X. Chinese are like, yeah, we'll do that. And then the X is an SH sound. The I is an R sound. Okay, that's not true, but it's just really weird. It's like, what? This isn't English. This isn't our alphabet. You're just using our characters. This is not our alphabet. Our alphabet doesn't make these sounds like that. So funny. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how it developed, but it is totally wrong. Have you ever seen
so much listening to you guys? And now I learned there are 3 writing systems. Here, I don't know how to pronounce them.
There you go. Yeah, there are 3 writing systems.
Katakana and kanji.
Yeah, hiragana, katakana, and kanji. You got it. Yep. Hiragana is the traditional. Well, so the Japanese had been saying words before they were introduced to any other languages. Kanji was given to them by the Chinese. The Chinese were were creating a writing system. The Japanese adapted it, and that is what kanji comes from. It's that writing system that they've added into their own language. But there are words that were not included, and that is ever increasing. because we keep on adding words to the dictionary, right?
Sure.
We come up with new tools, new ideas, new understandings of things. And
Like
so,
e-cooking.
yes, like e-cooking, as we established today, e-cooking. When you send someone a picture of food and they can't eat it, but you send them a smell packet file, which they won't be able to use for another 30 years. And by then it will automatically just smell like dust. Yeah. And that's what it looks like. Yes. But it's a fascinating subject. Amory's husband would love to tell you about it for the next 7 hours straight because he can, and it's entertaining. I love that guy. He's awesome. Okay, I haven't seen Sparrow respond. Sparrow's last message was quite a while ago. So bummer. Looks like we missed our chance on that one.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Sorry,
I'm gonna go through the list
Sparrow.
of name, and if you guys are here, let us know. Otherwise, we're just gonna be talking about some other random stuff. Actually, we have some comments. Anytime we've got some. Let me rephrase this. We've got some topics we can do. If no one else has them. So Sumner Kagan, John Doe, Man Left Behind, Eric Bodine, Caffrey, Mark Anthony, Sparrow. And that's it. But we do have
Yes,
two more
that's Caw
topics.
if you were around. Caw.
Oh, wait. Actually, we have one more topic.
We do.
But yeah. If no one wants to if anyone has something that they want us to talk about, feel free to type it in the chat. You know, when we first started doing the show, it was kind of just like that. It was just, hey, if you got something we want to talk about, put it in the chat. Then we started getting these backlogs, which was awesome. But now we're running out of backlogs because we keep on doing the show a lot. So now we're here like, hey, anyone got any problems you want to share? That'd be great. I'm not saying you should go out and do problems.
I can share with you my problems.
Oh, okay.
But
got any advice on them?
Do I have any advice on my own?
We've got one topic we can do. I planned to make it more this weekend. Oh, okay. Princess, you have a topic? I mean, if you feel like you're not ready for it, don't worry about it. Because if you're still working,
I think she's talking about the one we have, the one that's there in.
Oh, that they were typing out earlier.
From a while ago. No, one of the ones that's an anytime one or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or you can bring up a topic in the chat. Yes. And Amory, you are absolutely right. Just to say, if you have an issue with your friends, please reach out and talk to them about it instead of holding it in for a long time. And I would also add to that, instead of going and talking to other people about them behind their back in this situation, go to them. They're the only ones who you can actually handle the issue with.
You're right. It makes sense.
You're not going to be able to handle the issue by going to somebody else and talking about it. Now, you can get some advice for sure, you know, on approachability and stuff like that for sure. That's okay. But to just go around spreading rumors and stuff, and gossip. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
That's just painful for everybody. Painful for you as well.
Right.
But, but absolutely, you know.
Yeah, so if you got one, please do.
With them.
If that's the case, Amory, I'm going to reach out to you and talk to you about a problem I've got. Yeah, you're too pretty. So could you stop? Thanks. And
stop it.
Stop it. Don't do that. Don't do what you're doing right now. Well, I'm just not doing anything. That's the problem. Wait, so you want me to do something? No, don't do it. Too pretty. Darn it. Hi, I'm Amory. What? LOL. I'm a potato. Oh, a potato. Jesse's a potato too. You guys can be potato buddies.
Potato. You say potato. I say potato.
Potato.
Tomato. I say tomato.
So there's a song, guys, and it goes, I say tomato, you say tomato. Tomato, 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 tomato. And there, who did that the wrong way? Was it
Christopher
Anyways,
Walken.
oh, Christopher Walken. Yeah, Christopher Walken went on stage and he did this song from script. He's like, I don't really know this song. I'll try it. And then he's like, you say potato, and he's reading from the script, so it says potato both times. You say potato, I say potato, potato, potato. It's like, no, you're not getting it. It's potato. Oh, okay. You say potato, I say potato. No. It's a hilarious skit. You are YouTuber.
You are a tuber. Snorlax got a topic.
Yep. Perfect. Do you? Oh, sorry. Princess, do you want to? I mean, technically, I didn't want to take the job from you. It's
Yep.
open.
You
Did you
can
want to
feel
read?
free to. It's fine. Otherwise, I can.
Yeah, but your voice is
We love
way
listening
better for
to
us.
you talk.
Whatever you say.
Okay.
That's what we say.
Do you think having high confidence allows for you to be better at what you do? For example, art. From Snow.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Thanks for humoring us and reading that. Snow continues saying that their friend was talking about this with them. Someone asked them, how are you so good at art? And she said, oh, I just watch anime and copy them. It's perfect. And people don't believe that. Yeah, so this is actually a pretty good topic. It is an important topic. And I think that there's definitely some truth here to be said. So, Joe, what do you got to say?
Yes, I do think that can help. However, to a certain point. Now, we've all seen people who are way confident in their abilities and lack. In fact, they make shows about that, where you hear about all these different shows. I always hated these shows, but my in-laws love them. And, my wife and everybody, they all love these shows like American Idol and, The Voice and all these people where they go and audition and everything and stuff. And you find these people that are so confident in their abilities to sing, and they get up there and they just make a mess out of everything right up there. And it's just like, wow. So there is a time when confidence can, not necessarily be right, I guess. But I think when you can feel confident in something, it does make you better, simply because you will be more willing to do it more and learn to do it better and better and better, right? So I can have confidence. We talked about this with Akil about the confidence of being a podcaster or a YouTuber or something where you're going to be talking to people or you're going to be putting on different types of shows, whatever it is, right? And you're talking about art here, right? Now, I can have confidence. When we started Double Cup of Joe show 58 shows ago, tomorrow morning will be show 59, which is going to be fun.
Cup of Joe at what time is it now? 6?
It's
6
at 6
a.m.
o'clock in the morning. Yep.
Yeah,
so
Eastern.
in like a little over 7 hours, Joe and I will be on live on this channel. Feel free to join us.
Friday.
Sleep for a few hours, come back. That's what I'll be doing. But at any rate, when we started doing it, we were like, I'm confident we're probably not going to be that great.
At least we're confident.
But I'm also confident that if we continue, we will get better, because that is the nature of everything. You practice something, you get good at it. It happens. I'm in Taekwondo with my kids, right? And I started a few years ago. My youngest son will be testing for his black belt this month. It's exciting times, right? My oldest son tested and got his black belt in December. My youngest son will be testing this month, in just a few weeks for his black belt. And then I'm scheduled to be testing this December for my black belt. So both my kids outrank me. It's great. I love it. But at any rate, I remember starting this class and I was like, I didn't know anything. I was not flexible. I was not in shape. and I didn't know anything. And I was confident in that I didn't know anything. But it's weird because you see these kids at the earlier levels, at the white, orange, yellow belts, they're loud, they yell, they try hard, they do everything really well. And it seems like around the green or purple belt stage, kids start to I don't know if it's just complacency or they start getting tired, or maybe they get bored because we're doing the same stuff. Who knows? I mean, they've tried adjusting the curriculum, so we're doing more and more difficult stuff. And actually, we've now switched to just doing them on Zoom because of the quarantines and all that stuff. And I've seen a lot of people actually start to try harder because it's new, right? There's a new aspect to it. And so it's almost like the newness of something lends itself to being confident in it, because you know you're not all that great, but you know that if you try, you're going to get good. You see people, they're like, the only difference between me and that other person who's a black belt, I'm a white belt, they're a black belt. I'm not a white belt anymore, but at the time, when I was just, the only difference between me and them is time and practice. And most of the time they're younger than me. Right.
That's what it is. Decreasing in age. Good luck.
So at any point, it was really a weird thing, because you start to see these kids, like, as they start to progress, they start to get a little bit more complacent. They start to whatever. And then maybe they lose some confidence, and maybe they, start to not get their board break. So they start to get sloppy in their forms and stuff like that. And it's weird. But then you get to the black belt test, and these kids just leave it all out there, man. They just go crazy. My oldest son, I'll never forget when he tested for his black belt, and his sparring, he is a Taekwondo is like a keep your distance, strike, many kicks. Like, there's lots of cool looking kicks in Taekwondo. Now, my oldest son, he is more of a puncher. So I feel bad for anybody who spars him, because he doesn't care if somebody's kicking at him, at his head or at his chest or whatever. He's going to block it, and he's going to get right in there where you can't kick, and he's going to start nailing you in the chest. Like,
Sounds great. Sign me up.
And I'm an adult, and it hurts me, and we're wearing sparring gear, we got all the pads on and everything, but still, man,
And it still hurts.
he just gets in there and pummels you. Now, my youngest son, he's little, so he like will dodge and then come in and strike and dodge, and he's all like jukey, whatever.
Nice.
But the thing about it is, we go through that time period where we're talking about confidence, right? You guys are like, what is this devolving into? Talking about is good.
We all lost it. You didn't. You were just directing us on. You're just the conductor, we're following you, man.
Yeah. But at any rate, that confidence comes out the more you do something. And now, I mean, we just did class today, and I just was thinking to myself, like, I'm doing all these crazy combinations and complex forms and everything because I'm getting closer to my black belt test. Like, I never would have imagined doing this when I was first starting. Some of these complicated combinations that they're having us do, since we can't spar in person, they've added this, do a combination of punches and kicks and and put it all together, and and that's how they're testing us in the sparring realm, because we can't actually spar somebody. But as we're doing this, I'm like, at this point now, I can trust my body to do these things. I can trust that I have the ability to do some of this stuff that I never would have had before. And that confidence came from doing it. week after week after week after week after week after week for years. Testing again and again and again and again and again, moving up the different colored ranks of belts, you know. And now that I'm at this point, there are two things that I'm confident in. One, I'm confident that my body will do what I want it to in this regard until they start teaching us other new stuff. A doorway opens when you become a black belt and you start doing all this crazy, amazing stuff. Like I'm watching my oldest son do now, right? He's doing way more complicated stuff. But not only do I have the confidence in my body that it will do what I want it to do, but I also have the confidence that I'm going to try hard because I have a track record of trying hard. And it's the same. It was the same with music when I was playing percussion all the way from 5th grade on through college. When I majored in percussion, I knew I was going to practice because I already had been doing that for years. And when you can trust yourself, that confidence definitely gives you the ability because you know you're going to put in the time and effort to do it. I had a friend who said he was a great guitarist. It was just that he wanted to be a great guitarist. But that was about where it stopped for him. He didn't practice much. He bought a guitar. He never played it very much. It was sad because he's a good musician. But he was good. He played the trumpet, I think, in band. And then he always wanted to play the guitar. And then he bought a guitar, but then he never played it. I got a guitar and I played it a lot. And I got better at it over the years. But so I would say, yes, confidence can help your abilities. But I think when you have confidence in your work ethic in any type of art form, that's the type of confidence that creates this just, you know that you know that you know. You know your material. You know you're going to try hard. You know that you've got a track record of experience behind you. And you know that you're going to do a good job when you actually come to perform. So that's the kind of confidence I would encourage you to have. So Ryan.
Sure.
Take
Yeah.
it away.
Thanks. Yeah, it's kind of funny because on that note, confidence can hold you back, right? There's that situation where Joe was talking about at the beginning, like some people are really confident, but then they're not that great. And that's because not having confidence can hold you back, but having confidence can hold you back as well. So if confidence doesn't hold you back, it's a good thing. It'll make you better. But if it holds you back because you think you're already good enough, you stop trying, then that is a confidence where you are actually, because nothing stays still. Nothing just stays stagnant. We're always getting better or worse in something. My singing, if I'm not singing, I slowly become worse and worse. If I'm not playing the piano for several years, I get worse and worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so good at piano, but then I don't play it, if I don't practice, but I'm confident in it still, I'm gonna go to the piano and be like, well, I can't do the things I used to be able to do. That's weird. You know, it's because I'm slowly getting, because I'm not practicing, it's getting out of my mind, you know, the habits are disappearing, right? So if confidence holds you back, right, it's bad confidence and it doesn't make you better. But what does make you better, right, is if you can be confident enough to try. I remember when I was a kid, I was really good, I was good at running. I was one of the fastest kids in my school, even though I was small. I was good at balancing. I was good at climbing things, especially climbing things, climbing really high heights and stuff like that. You want to know why? Because I was confident. I was confident that I could do it, and I wasn't worried about getting hurt. I wasn't worried about making a fool of myself, right? When I'm not worried about, when I know that the end product will be the end product and I'm not worried about how people look at it, it makes me free to express however I want. So when it comes to art, for example, right? I'm not worried. When I was in school and I was better at these things than a lot of people in our school, it wasn't because I had a better body for it. It wasn't because I was more experienced in it. It was because I was willing to put my all into it. A lot of kids approached, okay, we're going to be running now. And they're like, I don't really want to run all that much. And so then they
Sounds
didn't.
like me.
We had a lot of kids who it was time to like run across the balancing beam, right? And they're like, ooh, I'm afraid of falling. So they come up to it and they get really scared. They get really nervous. And so they take it really slow. And by taking it slow, they're not training themselves to be any better at it. Well, they are, right? But they would train themselves faster if they weren't so worried about getting hurt. Because then they could go faster. They could, and it's funny too, because when you're trying to balance, the faster you go, the easier it is to stay at balance, right? Like if you're riding a bike, if you stop the bike, you're going to fall over. But if you keep the bike moving, you have that momentum, you have the force, the way that the physics works, it holds you up, right? So if you keep on going fast on a bike because you have confidence in the bike and you have confidence moving forward, right? You stay afloat. But as soon as you stop on that bike, you fall over. So that's kind of like that example with balance. I was never afraid of falling over. So I never had afraid of going fast or getting hurt. So that confidence lended me towards being more physically capable than other people. But it wasn't because I had a better body for it. It was entirely because I had a better mind for it. I expected to get hurt and it not bothering me because that happens. We used to do like, those rock walls. I love rock walls. Rock walls are a lot of fun. And I would just climb them as fast as possible. People would see me climb up it and they'd be like, you're like a monkey, man. You're crazy. And I was like, I'm just climbing the wall. I'm having fun. I'm trying to go as fast as possible. I'm not worried about falling. I know I'm on this belay. You guys got me. I'm on belay. Belay on, bros. So let's go. And everyone else is sitting there on the ground like, what if I miss my thing and I fall and then they don't got me belay and belay's not on and I fall and I hurt myself. And I'm like, I'm not worried about it. That confidence gives me the ability, the speed, the strength, the whatever to climb it quickly, right? However, if I was to for one moment think that I was the best in the world and no one could ever be better than me, I would be proven wrong, right? So often. But also, I would stop myself from being able to get any better in anything, right? Because I would stop trying to get better. So again, confidence can be hurtful if that sort of confidence makes you to believe there's no reason in trying. It's all about practice. And that's what makes you good, just like Joe was talking about. But also, even in the moment, right? We're not talking about necessarily as you practice, you get better and better. We're talking about like, let's just everyone draw a picture. People who are confident in drawing their pictures, are they going to be better than the people who are not confident? The answer you'll find is kind of a mix. You'll find some people who aren't confident in their stuff and they're going to come out just like, wow, that's really good. And they're like, I don't know, I have a lot to grow. Good. That's why you're good. Because you're looking at it and you're going, okay, I have a lot to grow. Let's pick up from the other areas that I see and I start to copy those things. And that's how I've gotten to where I am now. I've looked at other people's stuff that was better than mine. And I just was like, yeah, I can try to do that. And then I try and try and try and try. And it's not that great, but it's decent. But then you also have the people who are incompetent that go, oh, I'll never be good at this. And they'll give their minimal effort. Like my brother. My brother is incredible. He's like, I've never fixed a car before. I'm going to do that. And I'm like, you're crazy. You're not a mechanic. I don't say this to him, but he just goes, he learns all this stuff on YouTube and different forums. He's looking and he's like buying parts off the internet. And then he gets to his car and he fixes it. And I'm like, dude, that's nuts. Like mechanics make a lot of money, and he's like, I'm not even a mechanic. Like, he doesn't make any money doing it. He just fixes his own car. because it was broken. And he did it all himself. I'm like, that's amazing. Then on the other hand, he's like, yeah, I'm bad at writing. I'm bad at drawing. And then he doesn't say anything more than that. And he is bad at those things. He really is. He not writing as in his spelling's bad. His spelling's fine. It's the style of his
The
writing.
penmanship.
Penmanship, yeah. His
Yeah.
penmanship isn't very good. It's barely legible at sometimes. You know?
Classic.
Uh-huh.
Classic.
Yeah. And his drawings are stick figures, and that's as best he can do.
Yeah.
And that's
stick
fine
figures.
because he doesn't need to be excellent at those things. That's not what he was born to do. But my point is he has the mentality that he's not going to get any better. But he also knows that's because he's not going to try to get any better. Right? So in that case, he's confident that he's bad, and he is bad. All right? So you have that. You have that. Some people are just that way about certain things because they don't really care. So if you're going to draw a picture, I would say try to draw it with confidence. Why? Because it doesn't hold you back. If you're afraid of what it's going to look like, you're going to hold back. If you're cautious, that's good, right? You can be cautious and be like, okay, what's going to look good? I try this. Okay, that's not good. Use your, okay, that was terrible. It's okay. Use your discretion, right? You don't go, oh, this is great. And it's like so bad and you just don't care, right? Like, this is great. I don't care. Use your discretion, you use your logic, you look at it, you use your heart and your emotion, whatever. But at the end, it's better to draw with confidence because then you're not afraid to put anything on the page. And even more importantly, you're not afraid to share it. And that's the most important thing. As a musical artist, as someone who writes music, there's no point in writing an entire song if I'm not going to share it with people. There's no point. For me, anyways. Some people write just to get their emotions out, and that's fine. But for me, I write because I want to affect people's lives. I want to help people. I want to change people's lives. I want to have an impact. I want to be a part of their lives, right? Even if it's just a song. If I'm like, write a song and then I don't share it because I don't have confidence, if I'm worried that people won't like it and so I hold back and I don't share it, I'm only letting myself down. I'm only letting everybody else down. So confidence is important there. Or rather, courage. Because courage is maybe not being confident, but still being able to do it anyways because you know it's the right thing. So sometimes it's not necessarily confidence that makes you good, but courage. Because courage gives you the strength to do the things that you're afraid to do. Courage gives you the strength to put the effort forth, even if you're not confident. So I guess another way you could answer the argument is, does confidence make your art better? I would say yes, at times, and at times, no. But courage does. Because courage is what confidence tries to give you. But even when you don't have confidence, you can have courage. Mm-hmm. And courage carries you through. It allows you to actually take action and do your art, even if you know it's not that great. And the knowingness and the willingness to get better, I think that is super important, like Joe mentioned multiple times. Anyways, that's what I got. It's an interesting, very interesting topic there. Snow Lockholms. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to follow up with, Joe?
No, that's it, man.
Okay. Well,
you summed it up well.
Perfect.
That's the exact word I would use. Perfect. I'm confident that what you said was perfect.
I'm confident you're perfect.
I'm confident that I'm perfectly imperfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
At least you're not any less than perfect. Yeah, that's right. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for joining us on the show, for sticking around with us for the 2 hours that we ran it. We love and appreciate you guys so much, including those people who who are just lurking in the background and not saying anything. We appreciate you too. So yeah, thanks for showing up, joining us, and we hope to see you again very soon. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, same time.
Mhm.
Um,
9-ish.
so 9-ish Eastern
Mhm.
time.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And come on
Hey.
back in the morning.
Yo. Yes, come back in the morning. We have Double Cup of Joe, where the two Joes get together and they double cuppa.
We
Wait.
double cuppa.
Yeah.
on the
No,
Joe
actually,
Show.
that's a great way to start your mornings off. With Joe and Joe, as they have a good time. They laugh a lot. They talk about they just like set your day off right, looking in the future, not looking in the future with crystal balls, but looking out. What are we going to do today? You know, what kind of things should we look forward to? What kind of things are we thankful for? And just kind of setting your attitude for the day. It's a really great way to start your day on a productive and positive note. So
Mhm.
if you,
Yep.
if
We're
you
talking about
are for it-
gratitude all week.
Oh, are you? This week's topic is gratitude.
This whole week has been on gratitude, and yeah, tomorrow we're kind of summing everything up, and what
Mhm.
life looks like when you live it with gratitude. It's going to be a really fun show, and then Friday is the Free for All Friday.
Yeah, I was
We're
gonna
gonna
ask, what's your
topic
free for all?
it's from
topic?
Master Lay. It's the sun.
The
Hey!
sun?
What's your favorite planet?
The sun?
Mine's the sun.
The big yellow one is the sun. That's all I know.
Yep, that's my favorite one.
That's your favorite planet.
Yep.
Awesome. Suddenly, hey, what's up, man? Okay. Yeah, but we're gonna shut it down. So thank you all so much for joining. Thank you, Princess and Jesse, also for doing your hard work in the background. And thank you, Joe,
Mhm.
for having an excellent voice and wisdom to share. And all those bad experiences you experienced before in your lives to share it with us.
That's right.
Thanks for having us.
Amory, I'm with you. I'm social distancing forever.
Yeah.
I want to be social distance, man. As an introvert, social distancing.
Yeah,
Nobody
Joe's really
come
digging
close
it.
to me.
I'm kind of digging it too. It doesn't change my life at all, though. I'm fine with it. I'm
Yep.
already, unfortunately and fortunately, it's both distance. But anyways,
We get to have friends here. Man.
we get to totally be with
I
you
got
guys.
all you guys,
have
man.
fun.
It's so great. So,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it wasn't for this show, I wouldn't be talking to like barely anybody. It's great to be here with you guys because you guys are so fun and so you guys are the right kind of people to be around, you know?
You are
Yeah.
totally.
Yep.
So we're coming back. You should come back too.
Yeah. Well, love you guys. Have a wonderful evening, and we will see you hopefully soon. Well, bye.
Yeah.
Peace.
Next time. We'll see you next time. It'll be good.
Yeah. You will come. You will come. You will come.